20. He separates. He's to the 20, to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown, Florida State. Warwick got on third down.
Winky looking Winky. Wants to throw the knockout punch to Warwick. Warwick open. Touchdown. He does a touchdown. He did catch it. Touchdown, Florida State. Oh, Peter Warwick, how'd you do that?
Kermit Whitfield to the left side. A hole to the 30. Kermit Whitfield to the 30. To the 20. 15, 10, 5. Touchdown FSU. Kermit Whitfield. A 100-yard touchdown.
Here's the snap. Winston rolling right. Throws the pass on the other.
It's caught. It's caught. It's caught. Touchdown FSU. Kelvin Benjamin.
We're doing it for everybody. We're doing it big all over the country, all over the world. And I'm proud. I'm proud to say I'm a Florida State Seminole.
This is the Garnet and Old Podcast with your hosts, Ryan Eastman and Vince Ciccarelli. You are listening to another live episode of the Garnet and Old Show. No outside info. No inside info, right? No inside info, no contacts, no problem. I'm Ryan. That's Vince. Welcome aboard, Vince. How are you?
I'm doing great, Ryan. It's good to see you again. I haven't chatted with you except on the text there. We had a little text thing going back and forth, but how's your life been going?
Going well. A lot of things going on with spring practice and the spring game coming up, which we'll cover here in a little bit. But we're going to start off with the spring scrimmage that just happened this past weekend. What do you think?
Well, a lot of good stuff, right? A lot of good stuff happened, and I know we got a couple things here we're going to kind of point out. But it's all good news. Right? Knock on wood, we haven't heard anything about anybody, getting any bumps or bruises or anything. And what we have been hearing about is just players kind of coming into their own. So who do you want to start with?
I mean, my favorite player to start with right now is Jordan Travis, because in a scrimmage type situation where the starters or the entrenched starters are not going to play the entire scrimmage because there's no need. We know who they are. We know what they can do. And we want to protect their body. We saw Jordan Travis only on one drive. It just so happens that one drive was a 15-play touchdown drive down the field. So all we heard was that it was smooth as butter, and he moved the ball, made the right checks, and threw a touchdown to end the drive. So what a way to have Jordan Travis cap off his one and only drive in the game.
Yeah, 15, I think it was 12 plays, but yes, you're right. He did not play in the first scrimmage, and the backups had got a lot of work, got a lot of snaps. And in this scrimmage, he comes in and, just comes off the bench, little play here and there, pass here and there, 12 plays later in the end zone. I'm going to walk off the field. I'm going to put my ball cap on, and you guys can take it. You guys can take it from here.
I only hope that this is a precursor to exactly what we see in the first drive against LSU come September Labor Day weekend, because if it does, we all saw what FSU did to LSU for about 3/4 of a game last season before we had an inopportune fumble on the 1-yard line. But up until that point, I think everyone with a pair of eyes would have agreed that we were taking care of business. Now, I know LSU got better throughout the year. So did we. We got better throughout the year. So my hope that is Jordan Travis will show up to that game. We'll put on the baseball cap by the third quarter, and we'll be up 21 points. It's not saying that it's going to be easy, but I do trust Jordan Travis over Jaden Hill.
Yeah, I do too. And we're a year removed from that game, and hopefully, the kind of slump we got into in that game, that we won't have that. So, we had chances in that game last year to kind of put it away, and we just didn't do it. So, Yeah, I mean that's the maturation of your quarterback. That's the continued growth of the offensive line. It's just, you know, it's just great. Now we can also let everybody know that the backups in this past scrimmage maybe didn't have the best the best time, but that's backups. That's what they do, right? They have some ups and downs, and as hopefully as the spring goes on and we go into fall camp, those lows become less.
Yes. Now I do want to bring up that you know the the backup quarterbacks tend to play with at some point in the scrimmage backup players on the offensive line and wide receivers and tight ends. However, it was made clear that the offensive line showed, I mean, what they can do, that they can hold up against their own, even when uh, Darrell Jackson is showing up, right? Like causing havoc in the backfield. We can still hold our own, although he'll win some matchups. He should. He's talented. But it's nice that we have an offensive line that I'll be honest with you, I haven't even needed to think about for 2 years, which is nice. Uh, Before 2 years, we would have been talking about it all offseason. So what a nice place to be in. We don't have to worry about offensive line. We have linemen for days, which is really, really interesting to see how quick it turned around.
Lineman for days, and I think they're working on getting some other guys some reps snapping the ball because you want to make sure they have a competent backup in case Plan A doesn't work out the way they want it to. So, but yeah, I mean, quality bodies. I like quality bodies. What do you say, Ryan? Quality bodies.
Vince, I think you have a quality body.
That's not what I was looking for, but I appreciate that, Ryan. It's quality. As a 50-plus-year-old man, you'll take what you can get. So, who else? Who else?
I
We
have
talk
body
about?
by
We talk about
Cheez-Its.
Josh Farmer. Yeah, I know. Body by Cheez-It. Josh Farmer. Let's talk about Josh Farmer.
What do you got? Tell me about him.
Well, I mean, the thing of it is growth, right? It's growth from the time he came on campus till now, and you started to see him, uh, get better last year. Taking more snaps, being involved in more crucial situations, and now the word is that we're
Hmm.
hearing is that there have been times where he's been dominant in practice, and so when you're
That's
looking
nice.
at yeah, when you're looking at you know the line as a whole, the defense as a whole, um, we're just really deep. And the people that were maybe quote unquote backups before, they may still not be starters, but their ceiling has gotten even higher.
For sure. And I think one of those players that was mentioned specifically by the coaches is actually too Kentron, right? I mean, wide receiver, just having a beast of a spring. And there were some quotes that came out that he is the example of how Norvell builds culture and that he's improved every year leaps and bounds. I mean, Papu just said that. And that just speaks to not only what Norvell is building, but the whole coaching staff is really helping develop kids. They're not just coming here and kind of staying at the level they're at. And the same thing with Venturell Cypress. Um, you know, really a vocal player, playing consistently. Fuller loves the kid, and he just had an interception. He had a mission takeaway in scrimmage, which means he got an interception. Really excited to see Cypress step up because that's a position of need. We need people to step up in the backfield to be able to, in the secondary to be able to make those plays. And it's great to see Cypress taking that leadership role.
Right. Because if you look at the past few years, we've had quality play as far as like talent is concerned, quality players. And you would be watching a play, and that player would be in position, right on somebody's hip, and they just wouldn't make the play. Like they're there to do it. They've done all the right things, but the play wouldn't happen. And I know that's a major focus for the coaching staff to say, okay,
Mhm.
Your technique is good. You're in the right place. The play. Like you're where you need to be. You just need to do that last little thing there and, intercept the ball or knock it away or push, break through the hands or whatever it is that they're coaching to do. Um, you know, Finishing whatever the end result is of that play. That's a piece that we we haven't had as much success with that, and I'm hoping that this next year we're going to see that change.
For sure. And the roster in general, we talked about it. Derek McLendon, transferring. We understand that. We get that. But at the same time, we got players that came in last year or in this offseason that haven't even played for us yet. That I think more than make up for any kind of losses there. And then Destin Hill, the unicorn, we talked about it last podcast, but it really does. It really, really does this time look like Mr. Dustin Hill will make it on Florida State's roster, which I never thought would happen.
It really does look like it, and I don't want to get too far ahead of my skis here, but the things that we read online or I read online was that he like his admission has gone through, like so it's like in preparation for him to start classes in the summer, I guess. So we're getting really close there, and again, we don't know what happened. All we know is he signed with us a few years ago, never showed up. And usually when that happens, we talked about this last week. Usually when that happens, they just never show up. And it's just kind of like, okay, well, that was
Right.
fun to talk about when he signed, but we never really saw that come to fruition. I mean, we could probably name recruits that this happened to, right? It's like legendary people that never showed up. But it looks like he's going to. And, the receiving core, like you said, Johnny Wilson, Kentron, like that's a deep group. We're going to add one more to the mix. And
Mhm.
it's going to take him a little while to get up to speed body wise and all that kind of stuff and conditioning wise. But, there's the talent there too. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, speaking of recruits, let's talk a little bit about the currently ranked number 6 team ranking class in the 2024 recruiting rankings, which is Florida State, which means that we are only behind a handful of teams, those teams being Georgia,
Mhm.
LSU, Michigan, Notre Dame, and Ohio State, possibly a top 5 class when it's all said and done. You know, really turn things around in recruiting, and especially we've gotten some big recruits and some big visits. So tell me a little bit about what's going on in the recruiting rankings and the current recruiting, I guess overall big picture.
It's just constantly going on, Ryan, and you could follow this, and people do. You could follow this 24/7, and it's like a soap opera. But I don't have that kind of time. But I do have time to know that Luke Cromenhawk, um, who's our quarterback commit, he was invited to the Elite 11 camp and is doing very well there. Um, so that's great. Hey, anytime these national camps and things recognize you know our commitments and they invite them to these things, it only continues to fuel the fire. And of course, it gets him to interact with other high level folks as well. And so if he's doing any recruiting, maybe not at the Elite 11, that's just the quarterbacks, but gives him a chance and gives all of our
Mhm.
recruits a chance to try to bring people along for the ride. We did get a commit. We actually got two commits in the
Yeah.
last week or so. We got a quarterback commit for 2025. He's a kid out of Jacksonville, Florida, which Ryan and I are also out of Jacksonville, Florida. Mandarin High. His name is Trammell Jones. I think it's Trammell Jones. I'm not sure. But
Trammell.
yeah, Trammell. He's currently going to Mandarin High School, and he's also. I think he's also being coached by Denny Thompson, I think, who does the quarterback coaching for a lot of top kids. So that's one that we've got. We also got a linebacker recruit yesterday, I think. Ryan, you want to talk about that one?
Yeah, Jaden Parrish, which is interesting about both him and Tramel Jones, is that either one of them are ranked by any kind of recruiting service. But what I've seen consistently is that we are taking the ones that we have hit on. We've hit on a ton of players that were either low, not highly ranked, or and then become ranked as the recruitment continues, as more tape comes out on them. So it seems like this coaching staff has a really good eye for talent that can be developed and that maybe not have popped on everyone else's radar yet. So I really like to see that we're not the team that's waiting until someone's 4 and 5 stars and then getting involved in being the 19th team to submit an offer for a candidate, potential candidate. Um, with our recruits, we are recruiting them, being one of the first to offer, if not the first to offer. And I think it's paying off in the long run. And I think, hey, we can't have enough linebackers right now. Like more linebackers, the better.
Yeah, you're not kidding about that. The more the better, and casting a wider net is probably a good idea, which I think they're doing. Um, and yeah, I mean, this staff is not afraid to offer, like legitimately offer uh, recruits that have not shown up on anybody's radar yet. They're confident in their evaluations, and so much so that a lot of times what ends up happening is FSU will, offer a kid, and then within a month or so you'll see like a bunch of offers will pour in, and that is a testament to these guys being ahead of the game. Now, I'm not saying this guy's going to be a 5-star. Who knows? But I would probably venture to say at least a 3-star, right? And maybe a 4-star.
No, and I do want to take some time. Speaking of 5 stars, this podcast, you should give it 5-star ranking, a 5-star review, and a comment and like on any podcast service that you're listening to. And follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Garnet and Old on YouTube. Um, share it with your friends. We love to get some more people listening. But I want to save some time and talk more about the spring game now that it's getting closer, a little bit more in depth than we have in the past. So we have some news. The spring showcase is on sale right now. You can go on Seminoles.com and buy both game tickets, which are general admission, and parking passes. Vince and I will be doing a little tailgating action in Lot 6, which is right on Doak Campbell. It's right the parking lot outside Doak Campbell Stadium between Doak and um, the baseball field. We will be right there. We have 2 spots, so we're gonna have the whole shebang set up, and then we're gonna obviously head into the spring game, have a fantastic time. We are going to do a pre and post game report live from Doak Campbell, and then maybe have some festivities and libations afterwards, and maybe some dinner. So, Vince, tell me about it. Are you looking forward to April 15th, the spring showcase?
Ryan, anytime I can go back to God's country, I am excited about it. I'm excited about it. I love Tallahassee. It's nostalgia, and it's excitement, and it's different than Jacksonville. It's rolling hills. It's all the things that kind of brings you back to your college days, right? So yes, I'm excited to go. The game I'm excited about. I mean, I'm excited to see players play, right? That's what I'm excited about. And getting to see some friends I haven't seen in a while. Going to a game, whether it's the spring game or a game in the fall, you get to see people you don't see very often because they're your family. They're your group. They're your hive. So yeah, looking forward to that. And Ryan, the reason why is going to be an extended thing for us is because Ryan and I are going to be pretty much bachelors on this weekend. And my family is going to be going to the Taylor Swift concert in Tampa. And they chose Taylor Swift over the Knowles. And I know, Ryan, you will be by your lonesome as well.
Yes, my wife will be on a 7-day cruise. She actually gets back from her cruise the day of the spring game, but obviously driving back from the port and laundry and all the thing that goes with that, she'll, be preoccupied with coming off of a very fun girls trip on a cruise. So Vince and I, you know, I think it's the first time ever you and I are going to any FSU event just by ourselves without someone going with us, which will be a completely different dynamic. And um, after the game, who knows where we'll end up? But I know where all of you should end up. You should end up somewhere in our parking lot and stopping by our tent and saying hello and picking up your very own Garnet and Old koozie. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The koozies are
That's
back. We
right.
have tall boy koozies. We have regular sized koozies.
We
You
do.
come by, we'll give you some. We'll give you 5. We got them all.
We do have them, and they are just waiting for owners. They're waiting for owners and the drinks to go with them. So yeah, we're looking forward to that. And afterward, we'll pick a place. Ryan, you and I will pick a place to go hang out. We'll let people know where we're going to be, and maybe that event will continue on into the evening.
Indeed, we will be bachelors in FSU representation only. So, ladies, don't get excited. Vince and I are happily taken. Bachelors in FSU fandom only.
Yeah, good call, Ryan. I think you thwarted
Mhm.
the hordes by saying those words. So good job. Thank you for that. Let's see. What else we need
Absolutely.
to
And
wrap it
that's
up
pretty
here?
much all we have to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, the baseball team's getting beat again right now, so we don't really want to go into that. But they are losing the game currently. I think there's one thing we do have to maybe throw up on the screen real quick. Um, and this just made me laugh a little bit. So give me a second here. I'm going to put this up here. Let's see what we got. What do you think about this, Ryan? Tell me about this image.
Uh, that's I'm not sure, Vince. What is that?
This is a ring. This is for the Middle Tennessee State University uh, football team. This is a ring they all got. And if you notice on the side of the ring, there's a little bit of trash talk there on the side of the ring. You see that?
What does it say?
I guess you can't read it. I'm lobbing these softballs to you. This says Middle Tennessee 45, University of Miami 31 on the side of their ring. So that is a beautiful, beautiful
I do
thing.
love that.
And Ryan and I have a little bit of a
Vince, I do
connection
want to send you something
with
and
this.
hope that you can put it on
Okay,
the screen.
okay, do it. Let's see how quickly I can make the
One,
technology go here. This is very bad show stuff here,
one
but
second.
I'm waiting patiently.
No, this
But
is
anyway, I
a
was saying,
fantastic show.
Ryan and I have a deep connection to the Middle Tennessee team here. We know someone that is intimately familiar with the coach, who is Mr.
So,
Stockstill.
Vince,
Okay, let's see what we got here.
I texted you the image, and I don't think you're going to be able to get it in StreamYard, but there was a little text that went out on Twitter today where a very suspicious FSU jersey was posted with another account, the Garnet and Gold account, not to be confused with the Garnet and Old, but the Garnet and Gold store in Tallahassee, retweeting it with an eyeball emoji that seems to indicate a white, very traditional looking jersey with the number 3
It
Trey Benson on it, which you are now allowed to put players on there. What do you
correct.
think about this image,
I-
Vince? Is it
yeah,
a sign that we are getting new uniforms?
I think it's a sign that we may all be um, treated to a little bit of throwback action, right? And throwback doesn't necessarily have to be throw way back, right? It could be um, throwback to 2013. So that I'm
Wouldn't that be
thinking I've
exciting?
heard
We
rumors
know
about
for a
this.
fact, everyone, that the FSU equipment Twitter handle earlier this season was teasing that there was something big coming for this coming season. They're being very coy about it. They never showed what it was. They showed some boxes. They showed some random stuff, some eye emojis, some shush emojis, and then we haven't heard anything. So I am here to tell you that we are probably, I hope, please Lord, in the fall, going to see the original jerseys. Even if they're only available for fans, I would appreciate that. I would like to see them as an option for game day attire as well, but man, do I want a 2013 shirt style, jersey style, whatever it is, I want it.
Yeah, and just so we can all understand that Vince is working hard in the background here to make this happen. Here it is. Does this look familiar? I think it may look familiar. Um,
Hmm.
wouldn't that be amazing?
It sure
We'll
would
see
be.
what
I would
happens.
be the first in line to buy it day one.
Excellent, excellent call. Back to it.
Other than that, we want to go ahead and wrap up the show, Vince. I'm going to go ahead, since there's a slight delay that we're going to edit in the podcast version on the show, but I'm going to go ahead and say that, as always, Garnet and Old has no inside info, no context, no problem. And I want to say thank you to everyone out there for listening to this edition of the Garnet and Old podcast. Vince, go ahead and take us to the end.
Hey, everybody, you know where to find us. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, you name it. We've got it going on. Tell all your friends. And, 5 stars. Ryan brought it up. Go ahead and give us a little rating there. It helps. Everything helps. And I will close us out by saying, Ryan, I'm very proud of you for pushing the mantra. Go Noles.